So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen real quick. Give me a second, hold on.
Sure.
I have so many tabs open right now. Can you see my screen? I'm assuming you have your login for your ERP and you're kind of familiar with ERP a little bit.
Yes.
But I do want to go over a few of each of the tabs that we'll be using a bit more, especially once we start using ERP as our main communication between us processors, between us with the loan officers, with Peter. So we want to keep updating each step as the file goes on, so that everybody that's involved with the loan, with the file, is aware of what's pending, what's been completed. So, for example, the loan officer asks, "Oh, well, when was your appraisal ordered?" Well,
Mhm.
there's on the file itself, there's dates that we need to keep updating. So that way, the loan officer, first thing he's going to want to do is check the ERP. If the ERP is not updated for whatever update they're requesting or they want to know about, then that's when they would come and ask us. So we want to avoid them coming to ask us first. First thing that we want the loan officer to do to look for updates, or even Peter if he needs an update on what's going on with the files, is to check ERP.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not sure when we're going to transition from using Notion and only using ERP, but at the moment we are still going to be using Notion. So when a borrower completes an application online, whether the loan officer sent them our link or they went onto our website and did the application, they clicked on the apply now. Once they complete that online application form, we are going to be able to view it. If you go to loan apps pending review and you hit bar application, these are all the applications that the bar is completed from our link. Oh, sorry. So for example, this Julie Jung, they indicated that their loan officer was Brian, right? So
Mhm.
Brian as the loan officer and Gia as the processor, they will receive a notification that the bar started the application, or when the bar uploaded documents. So once they complete that application, we're going to see this here. It'll give us information on the loan itself, the bar's information, their employment, and there's notes down here that we can utilize for our form of communication. So to update a note, we just go to the show, hide, submit comment here, and you can type in whatever note you need to type in. And once you submit, it'll show up on top right here as an updated. Okay. So if you keep scrolling down, this is where the borrowers uploads their documents. So you can click this download all files and it'll download everything as a zip file. Or if you click each one by itself, it'll download each file
I see.
individually. Okay.
Is that different from the XML files?
So if you remember last time I went over and I showed you how to download the XML. So
Right.
this XML right here should have as much as information from this application when we import it onto Calyx Point. So we use the borrower's online application to complete our Calyx Point. In order for us to do that, we just click the blue XML button and it'll download it, and then we import it into Calyx Point.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, on the bottom, that's specific documents.
Yes, these are, for example, the driver's license, their W-2s, their pay stubs, bank statements.
I see. All right.
Okay,
That,
so these would be the ones that, like I did last week, where we renamed. So we would download these documents and then we would rename it to the correct format. So the driver's license, if you remember, it was DL underscore the bar's name.
yes, I remember.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
once we reviewed this application, there's notes here from the bar, but there's also, like, for example, Gia here sent this typed a note that the initial structure was sent to Brian on this date, right? So once it's been reviewed, we have to change it onto a different tab. That next tab, the next step of this application would be our prospect applicant. So we can click this yellow button here that says save to prospect applicant, and it saves it on. On here, we would just update the information. So in this case, in order for me to be able to view this file in our prospect applicant, it does have to be under my name. The assistant would be, I don't think you're on here as an assistant yet, but the assistant would be you. In this case, it's Vivian. And then we would just update whatever is updated. So this is going to be for a purchase. This here is completed, and we would just save it, right?
Mhm.
After it's saved, if you click this prospect applicant, it should be saved in this page. So as you can see, Julie Jung is right here. So the office information, applicant information, and loan info should be updated accordingly to what we previously changed or updated.
I see. Right.
There's the comments that we saw at the previous application gets transferred over to the prospect applicant as well. Again, you can go to the show, hide, submit document comment, and you can type in whatever comments needs to be updated. You can also see here any files that that the customer had previously uploaded, and you can click on it and download it as well. Once, for example, this is a purchase, we sent the initial structure, and on here he put that they're putting in offers, right?
Mhm.
After, let's say the offer gets accepted, and we are submitting it to the lender, to the bank that we're submitting our file to, it needs to be moved onto our pipeline. So we can either, I'm sorry, So if we have the prospect applicant, all we have to do is click the Save View Pipeline, and it'll be changed over to what the next step. In this case, it's going to be our active pipeline. On here, we do have to update the loan ID, which is going to be the loan number from whatever bank we uploaded or submitted, and then the name of the lender of the bank. And our status would be submitted. Everything else seems to be the same. You would do the loan amount, the date it was registered, it was completed, and submitted would all be the same date. If the initial disclosures go out that same day, you can put today's date.
Mhm.
If the disclosures go out, let's say Monday, once the disclosures goes out, you would go into the tab, edit, and change the date, right? You would put the actual subject property. In this case, we'll leave it as a TBD, and then just complete everything else here. So the rate, let's say it's 6.625. You would save it, and once it's saved, it'll show up on your review pipeline, and it should be on here. So I don't think Julie Jung is actually already submitted, so it's not on here. But if it was this first file right here that we have, you can click on the loan ID number, and it'll take you to the application. So it has all the basic information, the borrower's information, and all the loan info dates. So the dates that it got submitted, the loan amount, the date disclosures went out. Once we have loan docs, we will update the dates. If it's locked, we update dates. In this case, appraisal was already ordered and the inspection has been set. And then it has the property's information and loan information regarding the purchase price, rates, and FICO. Keep scrolling down. It'll show you our comments that we've been typing in throughout the process. Again, you can type in here. And if the customer had uploaded documents, it would show them down here as well. Okay. So to update the dates for, let's say, when we lock it, you would just come and click the edit button. It opens it up. And then you just scroll down here to locked. Let's say it was locked today for 15 days. And this lock expiration will be updated automatically. So if we were to change it to 45 days, it changed to September 2nd.
I see.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. If, let's say, this rate right here is showing 6.5, but we locked it at a different rate, we update the lock dates, we update the rate here as well. Okay. Once you make your changes, you just hit save and it'll be saved. Let me see. Go back to pipeline. So on our view pipeline, like I had mentioned, this first page is going to be our active files. All these files are currently being worked on. It's been submitted. First page has very basic and important information, dates specifically. So when it was submitted, when it got approved, if it's locked, the expiration for our lock is down here. Once it's, we have the loan docs that would be updated as well. So as you can see, these have a lot of blank spaces because they're not, they have not funded yet. So we have three different things. So it's an active file that we're currently working on, our canceled files. So for whatever reason they canceled and they're not proceeding, you can find those files in our inactive, and it's all our canceled files are here. If you click on the file number and you click edit, you just update the status to canceled, and then you put in the canceled date. Okay. Other than our canceled and active files, we have our funded files. So any files that we closed, we'll find them here in our black tab that says funded. These are all funded dates, funded files. As you can see, all the dates have been updated accordingly. When it's funded, we click the edit button, and then we update the date. So status would be funded. The dates docs were ordered and sent out, and then our funding date. Again, if anything needs to be changed, like the loan amount, if there were changes throughout that we had to do a COC to change the loan amount, we have to update the loan amount here. If the rate changed from what we previously had, that gets updated as well. So we just click that save button, and everything that we change will be saved.
Yes.
So for us, as I showed you kind of the process, it showed you where we create from the application, we create the prospect application to create the pipeline, right? Or the active file on pipeline. So if the borrowers don't complete our online application and we received the email or just the PDFs from the loan officer to submit this file, we have to create a prospect applicant. So we wouldn't have this bar application. We would just go to prospect applicant, and then we would create the prospect applicant here. As you can see, this one is blank.
So that would be created manually if like
Manually, correct.
did not,
Yes.
let's say, submitted via the website.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So as you can see, this is completely blank. We have to type in everything in. So the loan officer, today's date, the processor, the assistant. If we have a realtor, we can put it in. So if the bars, we don't have something, it'll show up as red. So if we leave it as red and we don't complete it and you hit save, it won't save it. So everything needs to be,
like required
it needs to be, yes, all the fields need to be required. If we don't have a phone number or we don't have the email addresses, I think you can just type in anything and it'll save it, but that's only if we don't have it. So whenever we create it, we do want to complete this as much as possible. So we don't have to go back and search through our emails or search through our notes to find the information.
Right.
Okay. The address, you can start typing in an address here and it should automatically populate it and it'll change it. Or if you, so this is going to be for our current address where they are living. Since this is a purchase, you can put TBD here if we don't know what it is. If we did know what the property address is, we can complete these each line, or
Mhm.
as I previously showed, we can just search here the address, start typing it, and it'll update it accordingly. Okay.
Yes.
This bottom here, if there is a co-bar, you can click yes, and a tab will appear of how many bars, and you can complete their information. And then we want to complete the loan information here as much as possible. So it's going to be this one, in this case, first lien for a purchase, single family, primary home, full dog, etc. So we just
Mhm.
complete all this as much as we can. Like I said, click save, and it'll show up on our prospect applicant here. If same thing with our active pipeline, there is this register new loan, and you can just register the loan. Again, we would just complete everything as much as we could. Once those are most of the steps that we as processors have to complete. The LO does have to complete a submit page that we are encouraging them more and more to complete. So they would go to this MLO broker loan submit, and this is it's like the application, it's just that the loan officer is completing this. So that way we can verify the information that the bar inputted. If the bar doesn't complete an online application and the LO completes this, it's going to be easier for us to be able to compare what needs to be updated.
Mhm.
So they need to complete this page, go through everything as much as possible. The most important part on this page, though, is the submission fee sheet. So on this submission fee sheet, this section A here is all the fees that the LO is going to be collecting. So if they want to add an admin fee of $250, an origination of $3,500, our processing fee, and our underwriting fee, right? So these are
Mhm.
all the fees that they're collecting. If they don't have an admin fee and later on they say, oh, well, why am I not getting my admin fee? Well, we can go back and check. If they didn't input it here, well, that's the reason why there was no admin fee.
Mhm.
So whatever this section here is very important for the loan officer to complete, because we are going to be going back in here to verify the fees. Okay, so once they complete this, they can go and save it. Us as processors, if we go to this loan apps pending review, we go to MLO broker submission, and these are the submissions that they did. So we can click on the name of the borrower. This is all the information they inputted. But if you see this view fee sheet, this green button here, this is where we can see what fees they're collecting. So
Mhm.
in this case, this borrower or this loan officer put only processing and underwriting fee. Later on, they come back, well, why do I not have an admin or origination fee? Well, that's because you didn't input it here. So as I had previously mentioned, you could always remove fees, but we can't add fees. So it's very important that as the loan officer completes their page, that they complete their fees as well. Let me
Got
go
it.
back.
Mostly for fees on section A. Thank you.
So the loan officer is also able to upload documents. So if they go to the same page where we checked out the fees for them, they scroll down, they can upload documents here. They
Mhm.
could just click the choose file and upload whatever document, or if they have the file, they can just drag it in here as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So for example, any bar that doesn't complete the application, if the loan officer completes this, we would be able to save this to the prospect applicant directly with all the documents on here, and then just download the documents instead of receiving our documents through P.
All right, got it.
Let me see. As a loan officer, they are also able to send text messages and emails. If they go to this message section, this message is going to be text message or an email. They can type in the subject and whatever needs to be uploaded and then send it. The thing with this one is that they can send it to several people at once versus typing each email, putting in the email addresses or phone numbers one at a time. So we already have a set tags. So whenever we create our files, we can tag them. So if they're realtors, you can just put in their contact info and tag them as a realtor. If we're sending any information regarding the Dream for All that's here in California, we would just click the realtors in California only, and it'll send it to all our realtors on our contacts that we have for California.
So that can be used to send messages to external parties.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. On our homepage, I don't think I really went through our homepage. I kind of skipped over it. But on our homepage, it does have these bottom blue tabs here. So if we go to file status, it'll go to our pipeline. You can just click on it on whatever file you're trying to go. If we want to create our prospect applicant, if you click this prospect applicant new, it'll go straight to that page to create it. So these are quick. For example, MLO broker loan submit. They can click
Mhm.
here and it'll take them directly to the page where they need to input their information to be able to submit.
I see.
It has a quick message as well. You can send the text message directly. So these are quick, I guess these are quick buttons to get to where we need to go.
Okay.
Any questions?
None so far.
No?
Yes.
It's fairly simple and easy. We just have to practice and get used to be able to update this file, or put not update this file, more of put our updates onto the pipeline.
Right,
Um,
right. Actually, I'm sorry. I do have like questions. Like when you're on, or when you're inside the file on ERP, we should see the program type there, right? You can see there if it's QM or non-QM, right?
so on the pipeline, it says the product type conventional.
Mhm.
Here, it already has a loan number and what loan lender, what bank we had submitted it.
Yes. For the product type there, is it QM or non if it says
So this
conventional?
conventional is, well, usually conventional is for full docs. But if you
Mm,
scroll on loan information, if you scroll down, it has the information down here as well. So it's a purchase for first lien. Occupancies are second, and the term doc type here, it says full doc. So this doc type, what it should say, if it's DSCR, it should say DSCR. If it's
mhm,
a bank statement, it'll say bank statement.
I see. So for that one, that's a QM, right?
Yes.
Or,
Full
okay.
docs would be considered QM.
All right. And others, it should be non-QM.
Correct. Any
Correct. Okay.
DSCR, bank statements, BOE, P&Ls, those are non-QMs.
I see. Also, LTVs are there. So yeah, basically, that's first thing that we should check before extracting to Calyx, right? Or we can
Mhm.
also have ERP as a reference if in case we need some information to enter on Calyx, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll take a note of it. Also,
Okay.
yeah, I do know that that's where we can get the impounds. I usually use it when I work on like LEs
Hmm.
for investors. So that's where I check the fees on section A, also for the
Yeah.
impounds.
Yes. Sometimes they will show it on here on the notes whether it's impounded or not.
Hmm.
Um, so we always want to check the notes again. That's why it's very important that we update these comment sections so
Right.
that we all know where we are with the file.
Right. That's correct. I see. Hmm.
Well, thank you for having the meeting a little bit earlier today. But if you don't have any other questions, I think I will let you go. And